Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Minutes with M&M. I'm Mena, this is Miss Ann, and we're very excited to have you here for this episode. So let's just dive right into it. We're talking about Ted Lasso. Again, if you don't know, we talked about seasons 1 and 2. Watch the videos, somewhere. So I feel like there's been a lot of negative pushback on certain aspects of this season, and we're part of it. There were questionable decisions that were made throughout what is final season of a very successful Apple TV show that they planned ahead of time. This is what you planned? This was your vision?
I was extremely disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have high hopes, but I expected the show to be at least decent.
Yeah.
This was giving Riverdale vibes. I'm so sorry. No. Okay, that's a little bit of an insult, but the writing just went to shit. And I had to start Googling, okay, did the writers change? Did they just replace everyone in the writer's room? Because why would you build a character only to just drop it?
You know what it is? It gives Game of Thrones season 8 vibes in the sense that it's not necessarily the outcome that is the problem, it's how we got there, or rather the lack of how we got there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just look. Number one is Nate. I believe in character redemptions. There are other characters. Hey, look, I'm rooting for Jamie. I love Jamie. I'm so wanting all the good things for Jamie, and he was such a dickhead.
His example is perfect because in season 1, it was I hate Jamie. In season 2, it was I'm split. He has some moments, he's growing, but he's still a dickhead. And in season 3, it's wow, look at the growth. Because there was that progression. Nate was just
they basically ignore him for the first half of the whole season. We just kind of see what's going on in his end while he's working with Rupert. It's nothing life-changing, and we don't see any inner growth from him, by the way. He starts to date a woman, and I'm supposed to be ooh, he's dating Jade. Do not give a flying shit.
It's given I can fix him.
But she didn't even actually try to really fix him. But then he gets sad one day because Rupert wants him to cheat, and now he goes to cry at his parents' house for a day. His dad says, sorry, I didn't know how to raise a genius. Correlation where? And then he just comes back to the team. He doesn't apologize to Ted until after he's back at the team. And even then, he's like,
Ted, you're sorry.
He said, Ted, just let me. And then he hugs him and cries. I am sorry. Where is the repentance? Where is the acknowledgement of wrongdoing? Where is the show of growth? Is it mildly apologizing to Will with a scented thing? That's it?
I was fuming. You know that gif of that white lady that's looking through the window and she starts to throw things and flips? That was me. Because I'm
and it was
why?
And you could have redeemed him. There was so much bullshit this season that was so unnecessary. Literally the last scene of season 2 is Nate is the bad guy now. We spent 2 seasons building him up, showing how integral he is to the team, showing his descent into madness, which by the way was not justified. Your dad is kind of mean to you sometimes, does not justify everything he did. Your mom loves you have a great sister who you have a good relationship, and your niece. You have a good home life. I'm sorry you didn't achieve anything other than mean kid boy at 35, but no one actually did that to you except for yourself.
Yep.
And then he's just yeah, I've changed, and now I'm okay with being the assistant kid boy, so it's cool. Mm-hmm. Everyone is okay with me.
Look, I don't know what the writers were trying to do because it was set up so well. Because the end of season 2, he went to work for Rupert. This is the perfect example of you didn't appreciate where you were. You thought you were being taken for granted. Now you're going to go work for someone who literally came, poached you, promised you all these things. It's a club that's big. It's a club that does well. It's a club that has money. You're going to have money. This was the perfect example to show Nate that all that glitters is not gold, right? I needed more seasons with Nate and Rupert. And I needed it to be more a, even if you think that things are great, the real things that matter are missing. And I didn't see that. It was just Rupert popping in. Are you ready for the match? Great, goodbye. And all of a sudden the breaking point is him wanting you to cheat. It just didn't make any sense to me.
It didn't make any sense because it's not he just met Rupert. He used to work at AFC when Rupert owned it. Everybody knew he was philandering. Okay, Rupert bought you a car, cool, great. It's because he didn't, honestly, it just seemed like Nate wasn't happy enough, so he just left. You mentioned the love hounds, he was trying to duplicate the diamond dogs, and he felt lonely in his office, and that was it. there was no self-reflection. There was no digging deep and thinking that I need to do better. And I think because it's like been a year, some people have forgotten. But outside of like fully bullying Will for just doing a job that he was promoted out of, Will didn't steal his dream job. Will. They said you are too good to be a Kitman. We're moving you up. This new kid is gonna be Kitman, and Nate just treated him like shit for the entire year. Him bullying Colin again because he was looking for a small person to treat badly, and him fully outing the fact that Ted was having anxiety attacks to everyone and the tantrums he threw. Like, what? Why am I just supposed to be like, well, he seems sort of reflective and sad, so now we've moved. No, but seriously.
No, but it's because throughout the last episode, it's like they put like rub in his eyes because there was always tears in Nate's eyes, and he kept looking over, glancing over at Ted, and they would have these like knowing looks, and I'm like, what's going on? Like,
Based on what?
What's this supposed to be?
I actually preferred when the whole team was against Nate, and like when Butch Beard was like, fuck this, like, no, we don't forgive him. Like, I know the point is forgiveness, but like forgiveness needs to be earned or at least shown that you've changed. And I just, it's whatever. Like, I don't want to spend this whole video complaining about this, but to me this was the biggest thing, because the huge draw for me in season 3, like when season 2 ended, was what's going to happen with Nate. This is going to be the major conflict of the season, and it was not. It was barely a storyline. So this is what I mean by like, I'm okay with Nate getting redeemed if we had seen something. If I ask you, do you remember what Nate's storyline this season was? What was it? He got a girlfriend and then he came back to AFC.
And even him getting a girlfriend, from where to where? Like, what did she see in him that she was like, oh, I want to date you? Like, I don't get it, because like she was actually my favorite character, and now I don't like her. And that's like horrible, because every time he would come in and try to be like, you know who I am, and she's just like, so which table do you want? I loved it so much. And now, yeah, his girlfriend. Okay, fine.
Like, I guess it's supposed to be cute that that's just her doing. Anyway, I don't care. It was bad writing. I'm sorry, it wasn't good. You could have done better. You had literally 3 years to write this because you knew it was a 3-season show. You could have planned it out, but you didn't. So that's, to me, the biggest thing of disappointment.
Second biggest thing, where was Keeley's storyline going? Can someone help me understand? Like, where was the growth? Like, where was it? Like, where did it go? Because I could have done with the show where like Keeley was not even in it. Like, that's how, like, I don't, where
honestly, that's kind of how I see it. I feel like nothing that she did this season was in any way necessary to the story.
Because the Jack relationship was another strong opportunity for Keeley to grow and learn more about what she wants and what she can't tolerate and what matters. Because I think they're trying to paint a picture of like Keeley is very much I'm gonna stay in like a shitty situation and not complain, and like I'm gonna just accept whatever love I can get because I love kind of person. Because that's the vibe she was giving. Like, Jack was giving so many red flags. I don't know how she wasn't seeing it. But like, at least when the breakup happened, especially over the thing that it happened, the idea of like a leaked sex tape or whatever, like that's something very concrete that could like lead to more growth. And you can also use it to do, you know, female empowerment, blah blah blah. It was just nothing. Like, we didn't see Jack anymore. We didn't like, and then, oh, woe is me, the company's like, you know, they're pulling funding, and Rebecca's like, here's some money. Like, okay, so no personal growth. And there's also no like understanding how to build or like build something for yourself, you know. Like, the company, like, she got the call to create the company, and we mentioned in our previous video that like based on what? No. So after that, now the company is down and someone else gives you money. So have you ever worked for something like, because even all the PR stuff is like the football player saying, hey, like, I want you to do this thing. Like,
do you ever have any ideas that you launched to production?
What are your talents?
Because you know what you just said, like, literally storyline right here. Hey, her nudes got leaked, her sex tape got leaked. Maybe she does a PR movement about like not shaming women for things like this that happen to, or like, you know, better cybersecurity, something. But like, it was literally just to get her to break up with Jack, who she never had to be with in the first place, and who you already had planted seeds of, oh, she's love bombing you. So there were already things in place. It's like the writers wanted to do 300 things and they did none of them.
Only to just end up with what? No one. And then like Roy and Jamie are just kind of pining over you for the rest of their lives. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Like, we're gonna have to talk about that because it doesn't make any sense. But it just, her whole career thing just makes no sense to me, in the sense that, are we supposed to believe that Jack pulled that funding because they broke up? Because that's kind of the vibe that I got. But it's also like,
your company wasn't doing like well. Like the people that you hired, like Shandy, what was that?
That was infuriating because all you're telling me is that Keeley's an idiot.
Yeah.
Because why would you hire this person? And the fact that she never listened to Barbara, by the way. Barbara would come in and be like, hey, this is not financially a good idea. And Keeley's like, what does CFO mean? What the fuck? No. And the thing is, it's not even surprising because she's not qualified to have this job. So, of course, she did terrible at it. But then she was rewarded with another company.
I just like... So I come in to a friend. I'm crying in your lap. And you're like, yeah, let me see. How much money do you need? 500K? You have it. This is why you're always going to keep... No, it's true. Like, you know, maybe I'm just salty. Maybe I'm just like, I don't have rich friends that just hand me things. Because I just don't understand how she can't just self-reflect and be like, maybe I don't have talent. Maybe I should... Because, like, she can go into modeling. You know, she can just do things. She can do other things, but like you're trying to run a PR business, but like you didn't even do research to find out that like Dubai Air wasn't a good choice for Sam. So like, what have you done right? Like, just name one thing you've done right.
It's giving Bianca Del Rio. What is something you do well? Quickly. No, but no. And speaking of Keeley, it's a great segue into Roy and Jamie and Keeley. What the absolute was this? And I'm so sorry I swore, but like, what the hell? The season begins with them breaking up. And everyone's devastated that Roy broke up with Keeley, which makes no sense, by the way. And everyone's like, oh my God, how could you do that? Oh my God. It completely ignores the fact that in season 2 that they had problems, most of which were caused by Keeley. And like that Keeley was the one that kind of had one foot out of the door in the relationship. But now it's season 3. Oh no, Keeley was a perfect girlfriend. Roy broke up with her for reasons. and then he wants to get back with her for most of the season anyway. What is going on? What is this writing decision? Because then they have her date Jack, which added nothing to the story whatsoever. Like absolutely zero. And then Roy's just kind of there for the whole season. Mm-hmm. Other than his friendship with Jamie, which we'll talk about later, Roy does not have a storyline this season.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. Because you could have just paired him with the teacher that you were flirting with last season. Like, if one of them had to date someone, it would make more sense for Roy to be the one to date someone, since 1, he's the one who broke up with her, and 2, it would show growth for him as a person who's becoming more emotionally intelligent and is able to be vulnerable, yada, 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 whatever. Didn't do that. Brought the teacher in for one scene. Had him run back to Keeley. Mm-hmm. They hook up, and I'm like,
yeah.
What?
And last season, Jamie literally said, hey, Keeley, I'm still in love with you. I love you. And that was just dropped this season. Like, no, 0.
It wasn't even dropped because drops would be better. They kept having knowing glances. Like, all season, Keeley's looking at Roy. Joy's looking at Keeley. I just said Joy. Jamie's looking at Keeley. Roy and Jamie is Joy. That's cute. Sorry. The point is, all 3 of them would keep looking at each other at random times. And it was supposed to be like, you know, ooh, something's gonna happen. And this something was Jamie and Roy got into a fight, and Keeley doesn't pick either of them, which is fine. Keeley didn't have to pick anyone. That is completely fine. What is bad writing is spending a whole season giving us context clues that she's gonna end up with one of them. Why?
Just 0.
What was the reason?
Let's talk about Rebecca. So Rebecca's story, there's some growth there. I like that she ended up like just letting go of everything and just ended up getting to the point where she just didn't care what Rupert did. Like she was just like, I don't care anymore. I don't even need to have this club. I'm just going to go and live my life. But her storyline was also kind of all over the place because like you can tell that she's like her entire storyline was she was lonely. She was afraid of ending up alone and she wanted love, and I would have loved to see more of that happen. And I wish that she actually met that guy early on. And like I could actually get to see her be a parent to his daughter and actually have like something, because they were just like she had the psychic thing and then there were just signs everywhere. But I was just like, I don't know, like I'm not sure what's going on with her storyline. And then at the end they just kind of wrapped it up.
Like it's such a last minute thing. Like, oh, she bumped into the pilot. Oh yeah, Rebecca does get a happy ever after. Are you silly? She's fully a main character on this show. And like they did the same thing. Knowing glances with Sam throughout the whole season. Why? Why are we doing this? What is the reason? I don't understand wasting screen time with nonsense that adds nothing to the story. Like, Everybody likes Rebecca. Everyone wants Rebecca to have a happy ending. And instead of us, see, and by the way, again, it didn't have to be a man. It could have been her being like, you know what, I'm fine being by myself. I want to have a kid by myself. Because her desire to have a child, which, by the way, they pulled out late in the game, isn't something that's unbelievable. Because, like, the whole thing where she met with Bex and Rupert was, like, having a baby with Bex and she was really upset about that. But it was just, like, you mentioned it in one episode that the psychic says that she's going to be a mom. She says that's cruel. She goes to see a doctor. And then it's never mentioned again, and then we see her looking at the little girl, and it's like, oh yeah, so she gets to be a mom. But like, why wouldn't you dedicate screen time to seeing her find happiness in her personal life?
Just give us one thing. Just give us one thing. Like, and God will punish all of you for teasing us with Rebecca and Ted, only for it to not happen. It's okay. It's fine.
No, because I don't know why she's giggling with Rupert and so I'm fine with Rebecca and Ted not being together. I know in my last video I said I would have liked it. I think they would have been cute, but I'm okay with them being friends. My issue is the writers doing little things in each season to make you think that there's a chance in hell they're going to be together.
Yeah.
Why? Like, I don't get it. It's like you want to be smart, so you're like, ooh, let's trick them, and like, oh, ha, 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 you didn't know what was happening. Like, congrats, we didn't guess that the thing you were doing was fake. I
guess everything was fake, because, like, even when you end up doing the thing that we didn't think, it also was like, why? Where did this come from?
What was the reason? Big what was the reason vibes. Because let's talk a little bit about Ted. Okay, he's depressed. Good. We've known he has had mental struggles since season 1. He's sad. He misses his son. He doesn't know why he's here. Valid. Because I don't know why he's here. Why is Ted here? Why has he not gone home to his child? Why has he spent 3 years willingly not parenting his kid and then being like, oh my God, I miss my son so much? Then go home, Ted. You can leave at any point in time. And I guess we're supposed to be like, oh yay, Ted is back now. Okay. What's different now? Why is now better than a year ago? I don't know. They had strong things that could have manifested themselves in better ways. And it just feels like they didn't. And it also feels like Ted somehow was not really central to the story this season or really like interacting with other characters. He felt very much like a second thought, which is not great for a show called Ted Lasso. And I know at the end they're like, oh, the story's not about me, it's about the team. No, Jason, Ted, it's about you. Let's be clear. You're the main character.
Yeah, that's the name of the show. And like a lot of his like pep talks were not hitting anymore towards the end. It was just like very much overdone. Like the comparison thing they do is like, oh, I would say the same thing that like I would say to this. Like it wasn't hitting. I don't know why. Maybe because the main storyline wasn't hitting and then the thing wasn't hitting. But I was just like, I don't know. Maybe Ted has lost its mojo, like his mojo on me, because like I don't like, let's just move on, let's just start the match. Like I don't know why we're saying this.
You're totally right. It just kind of felt lackluster. It felt half-hearted. It felt like they were like, oh, we're almost done, just copy and paste and just submit it and the teacher is going to be okay with it.
Let's talk about Akufo and Sam.
So I think we actually have different opinions on this, because I thought Akufo was funny.
I just like, are we supposed to take it seriously?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine. That if we don't have to, because like he was doing serious things, like he was messing up the restaurant, breaking windows.
But no, I just didn't take it seriously. Because even the messing up the restaurant, like the team came and immediately fixed it like magic. So I just didn't take it seriously, because I'm like, this is clearly a comedic villain to me. Because there are certain things in this show, I think we talked about in the last video, like, yeah, it's nice and it has a touch of realism, but at the end of the day, this is just magic TV. Like, even the fact that AFC Richmond is about to win the Premier League, they're going to beat Man City, and everyone in the universe is just kind of going with it. Nobody's like, this doesn't make sense that this American coach is getting this relegated team all the way to first position. I'm glad they came second, but there are just things that happened, and I'm just like, a little fake, a little false, but okay, you guys seem happy. And Akufo was one of those things. It just made me laugh.
Also, like, I don't know, I could have done without the scene where Sam's dad came, because his fake Nigerian accent wasn't just I'm sorry, it wasn't like just cutting it. I know if you're not Nigerian, you would have not even thought about it, but I'm so sorry. Like,
it didn't really bother me. It wasn't the best accent in the world, but I was okay. And I really liked getting to see Sam and his dad on screen, because after 2 seasons of hearing how his dad is so amazing,
I liked it.
It was cute.
But I would say that it was manageable because he didn't get many lines, so it's fine.
I'm screaming.
Like, I just feel like it was all over the place.
Good. In terms of, yes, Jamie grew this season, but like it also was like Jamie was what this season? Like he had a little bit. Oh, I don't care what my dad thinks anymore. And then his last scene is him smiling with his dad. So writers, what was that? But other than that, he was just kind of pining over Keeley. Like him and Roy, hilarious, love it, super great. But he just, I don't know. He got like weirdly. It was kind of like he was the same character but different. It's kind of like if they cloned him, but it was just like a little bit different. Like his part is on the wrong side of his head now. So like, yeah, you're the same character, but what are you giving me?
Yeah, it's like, I hate to say it, but like this season was so disappointing that like I have to ask myself sometimes, like, has the writing always been bad?
Oh my god, I was absolutely like,
no, because like, has the writing always been bad? Because like, what I'm seeing with Jamie is like, they've decided that Jamie is going to be a good person, so he has to be a good person. So the entire character was just stripped away. Everything that came out of Jamie's mouth could have come out of anybody's mouth who was trying to be nice. Like, I feel like most of the time, like, it seems like his personality was lost in the attempt to make it seem like, look, he's nice now, he has grown now. But I wasn't feeling, like, I just didn't get many of the, I don't know, I just didn't recognize him, I guess. And
a clone with a different part?
Yeah, exactly what you were saying. So like, I was like, okay, they've decided to make him nice now, so he has to do and say all these nice things, but I don't know why it's not sitting right with me. Something's off.
Yeah, because they did a few moments, like, you know, when Zava joined the team, you have Jamie clearly being jealous and being like, oh, I want to be the best on the team, which is a little bit of like, okay, this is still who Jamie is. But I agree with what you said. I don't know if it's because they didn't want to give him like a dedicated storyline outside of what's going on with Roy. You know what it is? I feel like they added a lot of unnecessary nonsense and some characters got the shaft. So everything with Jack and Keeley doing her PR, especially because, so making her have a PR firm away from the team means that all of her story time where she's in her office or doing her thing with Jack takes away from the rest of the central cast. And they were just kind of like, we don't care. And some of the additions were great. So I know we've complained a lot. Colin being secretly gay, I love that because it's so... Bro, the fact that finding a gay football player in, I don't even want to say a country, Sev, it's hard. It is hard. Gay men in sports in general have such a tough time, and I really, really like that they kind of presented it. And I, you know, AFC Richmond is a magic team where no one is homophobic, and they all love their boy, and it's great. Even though Isaac was really weird in that storyline, they didn't explain it. He was a bad best friend, and everyone just laughs and shrugs.
Yeah, and like even when he walked off, and then Roy went to sit and talk to him, it's like, okay, you're doing a thing where you don't want to tell us the conversation, but it only makes it worse, because why?
Like, why?
We need an explanation for why you're behaving this way.
Whatever. But point being, like, something like adding more to Colin's story, like, felt like a good add. Because Colin's been on the show since season 1. He's not a new character. We know a little bit about him. And, like, this whole, oh, he's just pretending to be a ladies' man. Like, it flowed well. That was good writing. Added to the narrative, developed a current character, integrated with the rest of the cast. Look at that. It even gave us a reason to have more Trent Krim, which... he was criminally underused because he was just walking around being like, the Ted Lasso way.
Was that pun intended?
No. But it was just, maybe it's hard to be a writer. I don't.
Okay, but it's a whole writer's room. Nobody was like, I don't really recognize this show this season. No one in the writer's room said that.
Because I didn't even feel like they really wanted to win the Premier League. Like in season 1, like you feel like they don't want to get relegated. In season 2, they really want to get out of relegation. Season 3 is kind of like, you know, we play football sometimes. Like,
I guess that's the point, you know, it's football should not be, you know, it's not about winning like Ted would say.
Okay, sure. It was great to see Pep Guardiola. Like, since like apparently the football itself doesn't count. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. But,
yeah, a lot of the attempts at social commentary did not fly well with me. I just like the entire locker room situation with Isaac and Colin, and like I just felt uneasy about the fact that he had to stand up and almost basically say, like, he basically came out, but I don't know if I was comfortable with the way it happened, because everybody kept saying, oh, who could it be? Like, I'm just like, just drop it, man. Like, just drop it.
I think I'm kind of okay with it, again, because it's the magical world where none of them are homophobic. So it's not even like a, ooh, who is it? It's more like, oh, someone here is and we don't know, which is a weird way to write things.
Like, I'm struggling with deciding when to take it seriously and when to say it's a magic world. Like, it's just...
Girl, you just have to be like, it's almost always a magic world.
Okay.
Because even the whole thing they did with Sam, where he was like fighting with the minister that was talking about like random immigrants are dying on boats. What is going on? What does that have to do with this season? what? Like, it wasn't even a storyline that carried over. Like, someone came and destroyed the restaurants, and that was the end of it. Did he stop tweeting at her? And it was like a mishmash of a couple of different things. So, like, you know, political climate in the UK, like when they told LeBron to shut up and go dribble. Like, cool, that's an important topic. Is it over? I did like when Sam got really mad and he was like crying, and then his dad showed up. I know you didn't like his dad's accent.
I like the storyline. The accent was very distracting.
But yeah, it was just like, you know, Sam has a chef who's super outspoken, and she's like,
I wanted them to be together.
I think they were hinted at to be together. But that's what I mean, like, they don't have to be together. And I don't want it to sound like we're saying, oh, what was missing was couples. But it was just like, well, okay, you had an episode and you talked about the immigration crisis. Cool. Thanks, I guess. I don't know. There were just a few times that was done. And I like that they wanted to make social commentary and say, like, you know, things need to be better. And I appreciate that because it's important. But it also just kind of was like, I guess, random PSA in this episode that's not really tied to anything. But to be fair, this might be I complained about this in our video about, like, how last season Sam basically fixed the problems in Nigeria by, like, covering his shirt. Sure. So if they want to do Magic Halo and the whole team is deleting nudes from their phone because they all do the right thing, why not? Let's live in the magical world where people do the right things and they grow to be better.
Except Nate.
Except Nate. Okay, we've complained a lot, and let's talk about something that we really enjoyed. It has to be Jamie and Roy, who I'm now calling Joy, because clearly that's what an amalgamation of their names are.
I'm going to ignore that last scene in the bar.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm just going to ignore that. But, like, Jamie teaching Roy how to ride a bike. It was so fun, and like they're best friends now. Like I wasn't expecting that, but I loved it.
Like, I always wanted them to be close, but I didn't think they would get this close, and it was perfect. Everything from Jamie showing up for Roy's Uncle Day and giving him his shirt from when he was on team, to when Jamie had a breakdown and Roy was like, oh my God, what do I do with it? Every single time that they interacted this season was fire. It was really funny, which is the most important thing because this is a comedy. But it was also like it had an underlying level of like touchingness, because it's like, remember how much they hated each other at the beginning, and now they're friends and they've worked through their shit. And even him and Keeley going to Jamie's mom's house, and you know, he used to be his idol. All that shit was so cute. So doing that 180 right at the end of the season, so they're fighting over Keeley, was just so, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Because then they're like, oh haha, it's fine, we're idiots, okay, now we're going to barbecue together. So what was the reason? I just
yeah, it's so funny that we try to say all the things we like and we end up complaining again. But I liked Zava.
I like Zava because I thought they were gonna have him be like this prima donna that was mean to everyone, but he was great. He made everyone feel fantastic. He was hilarious. He said, "I don't see other women. I only see my wife."
Loved it so much.
It was funny. I wonder if Zlatan watches like Ted Lasso and he was like, "Whoa, this is so funny. I'm not offended at all." No, but he was a really fun side character that came in and then left.
Coach Baird was just there. He was just there.
I did like two things. One, him hating on Nate all season. Thank you for being a hater with me. But two, also finding out that he had gone to jail before and Ted helped him out. That sounded true. Like, I believe Coach Beard went to jail and did crimes. I stole a loaf of meth. I believe that it sounds completely within character for Ted to have forgiven him for stealing after he came out of jail, and like that's why the relationship is the way it is. And even at the end where he says, "I want to stay behind, but I don't want to abandon you," it's like finding out that piece of information really added something to the relationship. So I was really glad to get that background story. So yeah.
Yeah, because I was just like, who's this random person who just like supports you and follows you everywhere? Like, what do you have on him? So
exactly.
Now we know. I just didn't like the way it was brought up and why it was brought up.
Yeah, because I don't know why you're forgiving Nate. Like, I'm sorry that you were an addict and struggled with certain things there, but it's whatever. I'm so sorry. I just remembered something that made me upset that I need to talk about. Ted's ex-wife Michelle dating their doctor Dr. Jacob. I'm sorry, not okay.
Someone needs to report him to the board.
Mad unethical, bro. For what reason? Like, they didn't have to. She could have dated literally anyone on the planet, and we could have still had Ted feel the type of way about her moving on or whatever. Your job was to help us fix our marriage, and now you're dating my woman. I'm so sorry. I'm going to get your license suspended.
I just don't know what was going on in the writer's room. I feel like they were just coming in every day drunk. Like, where do we stop? Oh, haha, what if he dates a therapist? Yes! And then drop. Because I don't know, like I saw him in like 2 scenes. I don't know if like where it went, because there was this time when like they came to visit and Ted was worried that he was going to propose, and then every subsequent scene was just Michelle looking at him, and like there was this look on her face like, oh, we're not really close, or maybe my son doesn't really like him, and I didn't know what was going on there.
I don't even think it was necessary. Was Michelle necessary for the final season? Did they add anything?
Well, they needed something else for Ted to freak out over. Like, it's just like every 3 episodes, Ted is freaking out over something.
Wasn't it enough? It could have just been enough to be his son. Like, it really could have just been enough for him to feel inadequate as a father because he chose to move to another continent and never see his kid. I can't. Because his mom showed up, and that was a weird thing where he was like, he had normal feelings that people have around their moms where they're like, oh God, I don't want you here. But it's also like, she's a pathological liar who exaggerates every accomplishment that Ted has ever had. But haha. And then they have like a kind of fight where he's like, fuck you for doing this, but thank you.
Like, this is the thing that's so annoying, because like they actually had a lot of background that they could have worked with. Like, I really wanted to know Ted. Like, I've watched 3 seasons. I don't really know him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know him. And like, maybe that's the point, but like he has this rich background. He has like this thing about like not giving up on things. He has this thing with his dad, like with his mom. Like, it wasn't like nothing was touched upon. And then I'm supposed to accept this conversation with his mom where he's like, oh, I hate you for doing this. And I'm like, I don't feel your pain because I didn't see it. Like, I don't know.
There were definitely a couple of morals this season, like the moral to the story where I was just like, this is bullshit. So Nate's redemption, bullshit. Ted getting over Jake and Michelle, bullshit. Don't get over it, call a lawyer. Like, you know, Rebecca's like accepting life before bumping into this guy, bullshit. Like, so she was just gonna be sad a little bit? Like, I don't know. Keeley can do anything she wants, bullshit. Like, no. It is what it is. Maybe our expectations were too high. Maybe we wanted too much. No, I take it back. Our expectations were just right, and the writers did a bad job. No, because I wasn't like, I think I'm like you were, like I wasn't expecting the moon, but I thought that it would at least be consistent in comparison to the previous seasons. And I don't think the writing was always this bad. I think it was always a little bit too saccharine. It's a little too sweet, but there was some heaviness / good writing that made it bearable. But this season, it didn't have that stuff, so it was just like, okay, sure. They're in the sewer. Why not? Everything's poo-poo. Why not? I don't know. Overall, it was a disappointment. It's the final season, so they can't really get a punishment for it. Like, your ratings aren't going to go down. Like, you're not going to not get renewed for season 4. It scares me, though. Bill Lawrence, I hope that this is not the energy you're going to bring to Shrinking. That's not what
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Maybe they were paying too much money to the actors, and then they were like, we can't afford to pay our writers, and that's why they did this, because I can't understand what Apple TV was doing.
I don't even want to know, because Apple has all the money in the world. Like, they just keep churning out new shows from nowhere with like large budgets. It's fine. Any final thoughts?
I'm glad that it's a funny show, so at least, even when the plot was bad, I got to laugh at jokes. That's what I have for you guys.
Fantastic. Well, let us know if we're like a little bit too harsh, or if you enjoy the season. Yeah, just comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.